Welcome back. Let's talk about the dream. You know the one. You've been working toward it for 40 years. You woke up at 6 a.m. You tolerated idiot bosses. You paid off the mortgage. You raised the kids and sent them to colleges that cost as much as a small private jet. And you did it all for that one picture in your head. The golden years. You and your spouse, sitting on a porch in Florida or Arizona, holding hands, watching the sunset, sipping iced tea, and finally enjoying the quiet. But here's the problem with the quiet. For millions of Americans, that quiet has turned out to be too loud. You look at the person sitting in the other armchair and you think, my God, if I hear them chew that cracker one more time, I'm going to prison. There's a quiet epidemic happening in America right now. Sociologists call it gray divorce. While divorce rates among younger generations are dropping, the divorce rate for people over 50 has doubled since 1990. For those over 65, it has tripled. Bill and Melinda Gates did it, Alan Tipper Gore did it, and now maybe you are thinking about it. Or your friends Bob and Linda, who seemed perfect for 30 years, just dropped the bomb. You might be thinking, so what? I deserve to be happy. I want to live the last 20 years of my life on my own terms. And listen, I get it. Emotionally, you might be 100% right. But we are not here today to talk about feelings. We are here to talk about math. And the math of a gray divorce is a horror movie. This isn't just splitting assets. This is a financial nuclear winter that transforms comfortable middle-class retirees into the working poor faster than you can say alimony. Today, we are going to break down why freedom at 65 costs exponentially more than you think, why your pension might vanish overnight, and why loneliness is the most expensive tax in America. Let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. Imagine your retirement fund, your nest egg. Let's say you as a couple saved $500,000. That's good money. Combined with 2 Social Security checks, that should be enough to live quietly, take a few cruises, and buy the grandkids decent presents, not just socks from the Dollar Tree. But when you divorce, that $500,000 doesn't just get divided by 2. Oh, if only it were that simple. In economics, there's a concept called economies of scale. When you live together as a married couple, you need 1 refrigerator, 1 electric bill, 1 Wi-Fi router, 1 property tax bill. 2 people can live almost as cheaply as 1. But when you divorce, the magic of wealth destruction happens. Suddenly, you need 2 refrigerators, 2 electric bills, 2 insurance policies. Your expenses double the exact second your assets are cut in half. Let's do the math. You had $500K together. Now you have $250K alone. Using the standard 4% rule for safe withdrawals that Nest Egg used to provide $20,000 a year in extra income for the household. Now, it provides $10,000 a year for you personally. That's $833 a month. That's enough to cover your utilities and maybe premium cat food. Maybe. The statistics are merciless. After a gray divorce, the standard of living for women drops an average of 45%. For men, it drops 21%. Why the difference? Well, women often took career breaks to raise children and have lower lifetime Social Security contributions. But don't get cocky, gentlemen. A 21% drop when you are on a fixed income is agonizing. That's the difference between ribeye steak and canned tuna. You might think, I'll just belt tighten, I'll hustle. When you get divorced at 30, you can work overtime. You can sleep on a buddy's couch. You can eat ramen noodles for 3 years to recover. At 65, your greatest asset, your physical health, is depreciating. You can't just go pick up shifts hauling concrete to plug a budget hole. You don't have the time horizon to recover from a 50% loss. At 65, any major financial mistake is often fatal. The biggest battle in a gray divorce is almost always over the house. It's emotional. The kids grew up here. I planted those hydrangeas. I built that deck with my own hands. Usually, one spouse, statistically the wife, desperately wants to keep the home. And this is the classic blunder that leads straight to bankruptcy. Let's say the house is worth $400,000 and it's paid off. The wife says, okay, Bob, you take the entire $400,000 401k and I'll take the house. We are even. On paper, yes, you are even. In reality, Bob just won the lottery and his ex-wife just signed her own financial death warrant. Why? Because the retirement fund is liquid. Bob can sell shares and buy groceries. The house is an illiquid liability masquerading as an asset. The house is hungry. It needs to eat. It eats property taxes. It eats insurance premiums. It eats a new roof every 20 years. It eats $5,000 when the furnace dies in January. One single person on one single pension often cannot maintain a family home that was designed to be supported by 2 incomes. I have seen this play out hundreds of times. 3 years after the divorce, the lucky owner of the house is panicking because she cannot afford the heating bill. She has to sell in a rush, losing money to realtor commissions and moving costs just to escape the money pit. And where do you go? The rental market has gone insane. Buying something smaller with today's interest rates? Good luck. Many divorced retirees end up in what sociologists politely call multi-generational housing, which, in plain English, means living in your daughter's basement with a son-in-law who quietly resents you. Now let's talk about Uncle Sam. Many people think, I was married for 30 years. I'm entitled to half his pension. And yes, Social Security rules exist for this. If you were married for at least 10 years, you are currently unmarried, and you are age 62 or older, you can claim benefits based on your ex-spouse's earnings record. Sounds good, right? Up to 50% of their benefit amount. But there is a catch. There's always a catch. You do not get your pension plus half of theirs. You only get the higher of the two amounts. If your own benefit would be $100 and then half of his benefit would be $100, you get $0 extra dollars. Social Security just says, yours is bigger, take that. Divorce does not make the federal pie bigger. It just slices it differently. And now for the scariest part, healthcare. If you divorce before you turn 65, before you are eligible for Medicare, and you are covered by your spouse's corporate health plan, oh boy, the day the divorce is finalized, you lose that coverage. You're thrown into the wilderness. You need COBRA, which costs as much as a small car, or an ACA marketplace plan. For a 62-year-old woman, a decent health insurance plan can easily cost $200 a month. Just for the privilege of not dying in the street. That one expense alone can eat up every dime of alimony you fought for. You know what nobody writes in the divorce papers? Who is going to drive you to your colonoscopy? I'm serious. This isn't a joke. When you age, having a partner isn't about romance and candlelight dinners. It's about the logistics of survival. Who is going to notice that you've started forgetting to turn off the stove? Who calls 911 when you slip in the shower? Who helps you zip up the back of your dress when arthritis sets in? Divorce destroys your built-in caregiver network. If you are single and aging, you will likely have to pay for help much sooner. Home health aides, meal delivery services, assisted living. America is brutal to single older people. The whole world is priced for pairs. Cruise discounts? Double occupancy based. Hotel rooms? Priced for two. Being a single retiree is a luxury that only the wealthy can afford. And let's be brutally honest about new relationships. Many men think, I'll divorce her and find a younger, energetic girlfriend. Reality check. You are a 70-year-old man with half your assets gone and prostate issues. The line of models is not forming around the block. Many women think, I'll find someone who truly appreciates me. Reality check. The competition on senior dating sites is fiercer than the Hunger Games. For every decent man with a full head of hair and no debt, there are 50 wonderful women fighting for him. And finally, your kids. The millennials you complain about but secretly love. You wanted to leave them the house or a nice chunk of change to help with the grandkids' college. Forget it. A gray divorce is the single most efficient way to destroy generational wealth ever invented. The money goes to the lawyers at $450 an hour each. The money goes to setting up and furnishing 2 new households. The money goes to buying reliable cars because you can't share one anymore. And here's the kicker. If your ex-husband remarries, perhaps to someone younger, guess who gets his remaining money when he dies? The new wife. And your kids? They get some old photo albums and his collection of rusty fishing rods. In estate planning circles, this is called unintentional disinheritance. Your family's legacy flows out of your bank accounts and into the pockets of strangers. Listen to me. I'm not a priest, and I'm not a marriage counselor. If you are living with an abuser, if you are in danger, or if you are deeply, irreparably miserable to your core, get out. Money is just paper. You only have one life. But if you are just tired, if you are bored, if you think the grass is greener on the other side of 60, do me a favor. Before you call a divorce attorney, pick up a calculator. Run the numbers on rent in 2026. Look at insurance premiums. Divide your pension by 2. Imagine trying to live on that amount in 2032 when inflation has eaten another chunk of it. You might discover that it is drastically cheaper to just renovate the house so you have separate master bedrooms. It might be cheaper to hire the best marriage therapist in the state. Hell, it is probably cheaper to send your husband on a 3-month fishing trip to Alaska every year just to get him out of your hair. Gray divorce is marketed as freedom. But for far too many, it's just a one-way ticket to poverty. At our age, the best kind of romance is financial stability. And sometimes, the sexiest thing you can do is stay together and not give the lawyers a single dime. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments, do you know pairs who split up after 60? How are they really doing? Are they traveling the world, or are they working as greeters at Walmart? I want to know the truth. Subscribe, hit the like button, and protect that nest egg. I'll see you in the next one.